Alrighty, testing. Let me get this up here. Hopefully this mic is coming through. Good morning, everybody. It is Thursday, August 31st, 2023. Let's go ahead and jump into things here. Just making it through Minnesota right now. I made it through South Dakota yesterday. Pretty boring state, at least from the interstate perspective. It was pretty boring. And made it to Minnesota finally. So sometime today I'll make it over to my friend's house. And then we should be back to normal. I'll just broadcast from there for the next week or two. So let's go ahead and take a look here. Do a quick review for yesterday. Yesterday happened to be what I would say a somewhat difficult market, only because it didn't really go anywhere. So remember, when we came into the open, we talked about how we had a lot of bullish signs. And let me go up to the higher time frames here for just a moment and talk about what we were seeing back from, back from the major low. And I've reiterated this so many times over the last day or two. The day I left for my mountain biking excursion, we were talking about everything lining up down here for a potential bullish rotation. Now, when it's starting to set up, there's no way for us to know with any type of certainty that we're guaranteed any type of push, but we had everything lining up. So if we went up to the weekly, remember the weekly we said on that final broadcast before I left for vacation, they're starting to show something from those lows. On the daily, we have one of these kind of extremes where the RVI pushed to extreme low in comparison with price here. So we did have some on the daily, and then again the hourly and the 4 hour, everything agreed down from that low. And we expected, given that kind of the stars aligned down there, that there was a good clue for a bigger rotation higher. And what happened? It did try to push, and then we failed. Couple points in front of the 50% retracement of this whole leg down, right? So it failed, and then it went sideways here, and it was hard to say, was this actually going to get the follow through that we wanted? And what we wanted to see was a push up through that previous high of last week, and then push up through 45.1775, which was the high of the week before. And if they could get through there, we had a couple levels that made sense for resistance, including the 61.8 retrace here, and our scaffolding up around 45.40. But once we could get through there, we were expecting an attempt to go ahead and retest the highs of the year on the S&P. So let me bring this over now and look at the zoomed out perspective here. There's 45.1775. Yesterday in the overnight session, remember before the market opened yesterday, we had pulled back from 1775 there. And then it actually, we talked about the scenario where, let me go to a 60-minute chart, go back up to that area. We were talking about a scenario where if we could get through 1775, then we were expecting resistance up at that 61.8 retrace. And then I think there was just another little level right in there. And then the scaffolding. So let's look at what happened here on the 512. So coming out of the open here, there were some pretty good opportunities. So the market opened here at this vertical line, right? And it popped up and got up through the high the day before, pulled back, and there's your textbook kiss, not only of the 200, but of the VWAP here for a beautiful parry to bounce for over 10 points, only to fail right off of our next roadblock area right up here at 45.1775. So some pretty good action out of the open. It even pulled back again and essentially held the 200 moving average, the VWAP, and actually if you look real closely there, they bounced to the tick off the close of the day before. And then they rallied up and continued to push. And what was the high of the day? The high of the day was basically our 61.8 retrace. So the bulls made it up into our next contention zone, which I warned you guys. I specifically said yesterday, if we get through 1775, Don't be surprised if the market comes right up into the 61.8 or in this general area and then gets a rejection and gets swatted right back down. We see it happen over and over again. And what happened yesterday? We got the bullish push out of the open and then came up into the 61.8 and failed right from it. And that was the high of the day. So the high of the day was our expected contention zone up there. And then it just went sideways for the rest of the day. And that's why I say yesterday was a little bit more difficult, because it started out looking directional, holding all of our moving averages for the bullish case, and then came up into our expected resistance zone and then just went sideways from there. Never was able to break out again. So we did basically nail the high of the day again within a point or two. And then again, it went sideways. It pulled back. It actually pulled back right to the holy orange power level for another beautiful bounce right back to the 61.8 retrace area. So nice opportunity there. But like I said, overall, if you zoom out and you look at how the whole day played out, it was a total balanced sideways chop fest. Again, out of the open, that was your best opportunity to get long on the pullback right off the 200 and the VWAP there. And you could have gotten over a 20-point bounce right into our first expected resistance, right? Assuming they could get through 1775. So that's basically the review for yesterday. Let's go ahead and jump into what happened here in the overnight session. So market closed and basically tried to hold the 200, and then we popped up. And interestingly enough, now that the market has gotten through the 1775, which again we came up to and held very discreetly before the open yesterday and in the overnight session, then we came up to the 61.8 retrace, and again, it wasn't a to the tick hold in this case. They did pop through by about 2 points there and then bring it, or maybe a little over 2 points there, get the pullback to the holy orange power level, and then again reject off of it at the end of the day. And now that the market's holding, and notice they're holding right around VWAP here and continuing to push, we push and we get a rejection right off our scaffolding. It actually rejected to the tick just about a half hour ago there for a decent pullback, and then of course obviously had to go ahead and pop it right on through by about 4 or 5 ticks, and now we're pulling back again. So literally when we talk about those stair-step action of our levels, I mean, what a great example just in the last couple hours, right? We come up and we reject at 1775 multiple times, then we come up and we reject off the 61.8 area. Not nice to the tick, but essentially holding the 61.8 once, twice, 3 times here. And now the bulls get through that and we reject right off the scaffolding. So pretty cool stuff if you ask me. Let's go ahead and jump up to the higher time frames now and take a look at what they're saying coming into the open.